In conversation with Peach Grayson. Peach Grayson is a seasoned writer and dedicated healthcare researcher with over 30 years of experience, known for a witty and informative series of books titled Let's Talk Menopause. Peach has managed to strike the perfect balance between humor and education. When she's not immersed in words and data, Peach can be found exploring the great outdoors, indulging in her love for hiking and nature. A proud mother of twin girls and a happy dog mom of Sadie, she cherishes her family time as much as a professional pursuit. With an impressive career marked by insightful writing and valuable research contributions, Peach Grayson is a captivating storyteller who brings humor and expertise to the world of healthcare and beyond. And on to the next episode of Author Interview, it's my utmost pleasure and joy to have on the show today, Peach Grayson. How are you doing, Peach?
Very well. Thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure, really, to have you on the show today. Quite exciting. You're going to be having a conversation around your beautiful title. So, Peach, could you tell us about your book, Let's Talk Menopause? You Are Not Crazy, a get sweet guide to understanding hot flashes, night sweat, shin hairs, rage, and sleepless nights from perimenopause. I'd love to ask you, how did this book come about? What inspired you to write this book? And why write this particular book under a title like this?
So, originally, over the last 10 years, I have been looking for my own information to help
Hmm.
understand what my own body was going through.
Oh.
And I just wasn't able to find anything that didn't come with 600 pages of medical jargon. And I wasn't interested in, reading a textbook or trying to become a doctor. So I
Hmm.
wanted something that was easy to understand, that helped me learn what my body was going through and helped me figure out that I wasn't entirely crazy, because there were plenty of moments where I really had to question it.
Hmm.
And since I couldn't find anything out there, I decided I would write it myself. So at least other women and even men that are interested in learning, what their partners or family members are going through,
Yeah.
have some kind of easy to read resource. And so the book is really a comedy packed full of facts. So hopefully it will be an enjoyable read, because nobody really wants to read about menopause. I mean, it's a horrible time in our lives, and the last thing we want to do is read a book about it. But the book is designed to be humorous. It covers a character and her diary entries over about a 10-year time frame, and then her
Oh.
reflection of those
Mm.
diary entries, where she can look back and go, oh, I was batshit crazy this day, and this is what happened, and this is probably why. And sometimes I don't think that women realize that they're in the midst of menopause until long after the fact. And so
Hmm.
it was really just a way to give readers what I was looking for and wasn't able to find.
Absolutely. That's actually quite great and quite impressive. I love hearing your take about that and how the book came to be too. Sounds quite beautiful to me. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, yeah. And now for readers who haven't read the book yet, without giving much information away, could we have a sneak of what we'd expect in terms of themes picking up the book?
So I think you'll find lots of different ideas, both drug related, homeopathic, or maybe even lifestyle changes that are in
Wow,
the book, because
wow,
every woman's journey is a little different, and
yeah.
everybody responds differently to different kinds of treatments, and nobody's journey through menopause is the same. We're all
Absolutely.
unique, and so you may have some people that respond very well to hormones,
Mm,
whereas other people don't. There's lots of lifestyle adjustments that any woman can make,
mm,
that's listed in the book. There's a lot of homeopathic opportunities in the book, so that you may have women that they don't want to take hormones or they don't want to take drugs, but yet they're suffering. And so
mm,
there's lots of things that we can do in a natural environment to help ease the symptoms, until menopause kind of balances out our hormones.
Wow. Wow, that's quite amazing, really. I love your take on that. I love your take on that. Sounds quite interesting. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning. Yeah, and I'd also like to ask you, Peach, what inspired you to write in this uncommon title, in this uncommon theme? And what are you trying to achieve with this book? Would you like to talk about that?
So I think my goal is to reach as many readers as possible. This is the first book in the series, and there's three books. And
Oh,
so in the series, I'm trying to cover all of the reader bases. The first book, Let's Talk Menopause, You're Not Crazy, has lots of humor, lots of sarcasm. It really reflects my personality.
um,
But I also realize that not all readers, enjoy that. And so
um,
the second book is called Let's Talk Menopause, Fact versus Fiction. So it's much more direct, giving you the information and, possible treatments. And same way with drug and homeopathic and lifestyle
wow,
changes, but in a more
interesting.
direct way, because not all readers enjoy my sarcasm.
Yeah,
And then the last book is really geared towards men. And so it's titled Let's Talk Menopause, Understanding Her Batshit Crazy Level. And so it's
oh,
really geared to help men understand what the women are going through
mm,
and tips on how to handle it. Because it's very difficult time for women as it is. And the communication is always a little strained, I think, in relationships because the women are enduring something that they don't necessarily understand. And you're not always thinking, well, it's menopause. Sometimes you're just in a state of rage or fury. And unfortunately, we tend to take that out on the people that we love the most. And
mm,
then, of course, the men take that personally. They think, well, she's angry at me. I've done something wrong. And most of the time, that's not really the case. It's more the problem really is with the woman. And sometimes for
mm,
men, just hearing what they're going through and better understanding, I think I want to be able to help all of the readers have more information because we can
mm,
make educated decisions if we have the information. And so
absolutely.
hopefully the goal is to get the information out there to all the different people, all the
Mm,
different types of readers so that maybe none of us have to suffer quite as much, or at least not
yeah.
suffer in silence.
Absolutely. I love hearing about that. I love hearing about that. And it's actually a very great thing to educate people. And I think the third book that you seems to have in the series will be very good, like you mentioned, for men, so that they can understand, how to undo this. They can understand when she's experiencing this and that, which I think is very, very important, really. So there's some team in there of educating the public, educating the people, letting them know
Yes.
about this, which is very, very important and quite crucial, because some are quite uninformed. Some don't even have knowledge of, you know, things
Yes.
like this. And it's really true. So, yeah, yeah, that's a very great team. That's a very great mission you've got there. Yeah, very well. Congratulations, I'd say. And thank you
Thank you.
for an amazing book like this. Yeah. Each, apart from Let's Talk Menopause, You're Not Crazy, do you have any other works you've authored or say currently working on?
At the moment, this is it for me.
Oh.
I'm trying to get these three all out on the market and get my marketing down. I'm not much of a marketer. Writing the book is the easy part. Promoting the book, that's the hard part. So right now I'm just focusing on this. Although I've had a few readers actually reach out to me asking for different types of books going into different details because the book is kind of an overview of treatment options. And so I've had a couple of my readers reach out looking for truly just a book on the homeopathic methods, not any
Mm,
kind of drug, but just, natural remedies and lifestyle changes. So I may be able to delve more into that and create an additional book in the series that really gives more detailed information.
mm. That's amazing. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning. I love the sound of that. Thank you. Thank you. Now, could you please tell us what publishing is like for a published author like yourself? Are there any challenges you've encountered in the process of writing your book and also ever since it got published?
So publishing, I did self-publishing. I didn't go the traditional route. And I actually found it to be a very simple process. I
Oh,
published on Amazon, and they have a platform, that individuals can go and take care of their own publishing. So you don't have to hire a publisher, which helps the cost, which allows me to get more books out on the market because it doesn't cost quite as much. So I didn't
mm,
have any real problem with publishing. Like I said, the promoting is another story.
yeah.
I've never been good at marketing. I'm not one to sell myself, or I'm just not, that's not who I am. So this part of the process has been the most challenging for me, because if
Mm,
people don't know about the book, they can't even go search for it if they don't even know it exists. So
yeah.
just trying to get the information out there, get the name out there so that people can go and look for it. Otherwise, I'm never going to be able to sell a book if nobody knows to look for it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. I love your take on that. Yeah, and it's very true, which is one of the reasons why things like that, interviews, reviews and promotion help to get a book name out there. Thank you. Thank you for mentioning. And now, would you like to read a short section of your book to the audience? It could be a favorite line, a favorite paragraph, or even if it's a page, that's fine if you would like to.
Yes, if you can give me just a second to find
Absolutely,
my.
no problem. You take your time, flip into the pages to find a befitting, section to recite for the audience. Good one. We'll wait.
So I think my favorite chapter in this book is going to be chapter 8, and it's titled The Great Dallas Doggy Debacle.
Okay.
And this is going to be a occasion where DiMaggio, or Margot, she is the main character in the book. So she basically goes out to the dog park for some
Mm,
relaxation, some clearing her head. And of course, she runs into a few debacles,
okay.
obviously, because that's how the book is kind of designed. But let me see if I can find one of the good ones. So the character is British. And obviously, I do not have a British accent. So you have to forgive me when I read it, because it's an American, trying to sound like a Brit. And of course,
Yeah.
I don't have that. In fact, I probably have a little bit of a Southern twang. So my British accent's going to be a little funny. But so when we're reading this chapter, like I
Yeah.
said, she's in the dog park, everything's going great, and then of course some large dog comes and starts gnawing on her shoes. But she's
Oh,
excited because she's met what she believes is a fellow Brit. So she
okay.
says in here, I felt my stomach do a little flip. Bloody hell. I was acting like a schoolgirl with a crush. Turned out Dan is a fellow Brit here on a week's visa. He's an engineer building some sort of fancy bridge in downtown Dallas. Refreshing to hear a proper English accent reminded me of home. I smiled back with my head still throbbing and my shoe damp with dog drool. Just as I was starting to forgive this bloke, he said to me, looks like Brutus may have tapped into your BSC level. Pardon me? BSC what? BSC. That shit crazy. As a man, you have to find a woman whose BSC level is doable. Before walking away with Cujo, he turned back and said, somebody's BSC level is off the charts today. So this is part of it, introduces the book that I was talking about for men. And so it
Oh.
introduces this idea of this batshit crazy level that I
Mm,
truly believe we as women, we all have. I think there's a level for men in some other form or fashion, but
mm,
the whole idea is that as we go through life, our BSC level changes, and it's ranging from 1 to 10. My husband tells me I'm typically a 4, so it's something he can live with. But as time, sometimes we have issues and behave differently, and I do think that there's probably a little inverse correlation between age and our BSC level. As we
mm,
age, things get a little more under control. We're better able to handle our emotions.
mm,
Because you typically hear about 20 and 30-year-olds jumping on the hood of a car when they're having an argument with their boyfriend. Rarely do you find that in the 50 to 60-year-olds. So I think as
Mm,
we age, things like that calm down. But I like that this book introduces that idea, because then when you get to the third book in the series, it's all based on each individual event and how that relates to a woman's BSC level, and
wow.
how men seem to have this understanding that women are a little crazy and they're okay with that. They just honestly want to find a woman that they can handle their level of craziness.
Yeah. Wow, I actually love the sound of this. Sounds quite captivating and quite intriguing to me. Yeah, sounds interesting, really. Thank you for that amazing recitation. Yeah, I love it, and I enjoy listening to you elaborate more on what you've read. Beautiful. Thank you, Paige. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yeah, yeah. And now, just in case before we round up, is there anything that you'd love the viewers to know about your books, about your writing, that we did not mention in this interview, and you'd love the viewers to know?
I think I want our viewers to recognize that menopause is a very difficult time for women. Some women have it easier, some women don't. But
Mm,
I think it's important that women overall understand that we're not alone. We're not going through this process in life by ourselves, even
mm,
though I do think that we as women tend to internalize what's happening. We don't talk about it. We
mm,
don't talk about it with our partners. We don't talk about it with our friends. Some reason the world thinks that this is a hush hush topic, that we shouldn't say anything, but it's a natural part of life, and every single woman in the entire universe will go through menopause if you live
yeah,
long enough. Nobody's
absolutely.
going to escape it. And
Mm,
so whether you're a man or a woman, every man is going to know somebody at some point in his life
mm,
going through this. So I really want our readers to take away the idea that you're not alone, that it's something that we all are going to go through. And the more we can learn about it, the more we can talk about it and understand it and communicate with other people, the easier it's going to be to get through. Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't realize that there are treatment options or lifestyle changes or simple things that can be done, then you're suffering all this time and you don't have to. I have found joint pain is a real problem for me in my menopausal journey. And
mm,
doing simple things like changing the sheets on my bed are they're hard because of my shoulders. I have a lot of problems with joint pain in my shoulders, and I've not found any real good treatment options. But what I found was a set of sheets that zips on the top of what would technically be the bottom sheet where it's fitted. So I don't have to lift the mattress up to try to get my sheets on and off. And as a menopausal woman, night sweats are a real problem. So I'm washing my sheets a lot. And little did I know that this sheet existed that I could zip on and off from the top and not have to lift the mattress up, tucking it in. And
mm,
just something so simple made a world of difference to me, because I can get up and I can wash my sheets very easily without increasing my pain level. And just that simple thing, if nobody had told me, I wouldn't even have known that that product existed out there.
yeah,
So, there's so many things that we can learn from each other. And
mm,
if it's a podcast, if it's a book, if it's a roundtable, anything that we can do to get the word out and let other people know what we're experiencing and what we're using that might help somebody else. I think just I want our readers and our listeners to communicate as much as we possibly can and not keep this a hush hush secret, because it's not.
mm. Well, this is very great. This is quite educative. This is quite impressive, really. And I love hearing you talk about it because, this is a natural phenomenon that occurs,
Yes.
generally between women of 45 to 55 years worldwide. Yeah. So everybody would have to undergo it and that's neat. Yeah. There's need for books like this to exist even out there to put people through and have much understanding of what they should expect, how they should react, and how their spouses too should react during this time. So
Yeah.
that's quite beautiful, really. I love hearing about this. It's quite educative as well because I enjoyed most of the things you talked about. I was like, oh, I have to make some note here. I have to check back later on the internet and get to see and read a bit more about the title.
Yes.
Thank you so much for mentioning. Yeah, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So just in case we have some viewers who are currently watching this interview and would love to get a copy of your book, on what platform is it available on for purchase?
Right now, it's listed on Amazon. And I think Amazon has a different platform for all the different countries. And so, whatever your particular country and platform is, but it would be, you could find it through Amazon.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And I left a link in the description part of this interview where interested viewers can get a copy of Page Grayson's book directly on Amazon and also on other platform. So thank you so much, Peach, for accepting the invitation to be featured on P English Literature. It's awesome having this conversation around your work.
Well, I appreciate you having me on very much.
Yeah, absolutely. The pleasure is mine. Thank you for coming on.